When the glory turns to hell, at the pinnacle of fame, Sean Diddy Combs was not just a music icon, he was a god of the American entertainment industry, power, money, fame, and an empire that spanned decades. But few knew that behind the spotlight, beyond the billion-view hits and the lavish parties in Beverly Hills, was a dark world so chilling, it sent shivers down the spine, a place where women were treated as commodities. A place where love was manipulated into a tool of control. And a place where drugs, sex tapes, and fear became invisible chains, imprisoning countless victims. The light Combs followed was not the glow of artistic passion, it was the cold, harsh light of security cameras, surveillance, and a power so twisted, it bordered on the sickening. In 2023, the first bombshell exploded. Cassie Ventura, his former lover who had remained silent for over a decade, filed a lawsuit against Combs for rape, abuse, and coercing her into participating in sexual games filmed for the thrill of his power. The lawsuit was quashed in just one day with an undisclosed settlement. But what followed no one could have predicted. The FBI stormed Combs' mansion in Los Angeles. A wave of other lawsuits flooded into the light, exposing a secret sex empire led by Combs himself, and then the hotel hallway video from 2016 surfaced. It didn't need sound. The images of Combs punching, dragging, and kicking Cassie against the wall were enough to make the entire nation hold its breath. From that moment, the halo shattered. The music mogul was now a federal prisoner, facing a life sentence. The glory that conceals the truth. From the late 1990s through the 2000s, Sean Diddy Combs was not just a top music producer, he was the living symbol of the American dream, starting with nothing, building the Bad Boy Records empire, creating legends like the Notorious B.I.G., Faith Evans, and Mary J. Blige, and elevating countless names to the height of fame. He had talent. He had money. His fame spread like wildfire across the media. He graced the Met Gala red carpet, appeared on major TV shows, attended parties with the president, and was close friends with Jay-Z, Kanye West, and even Barack Obama. The press dubbed him the hip-hop billionaire. Fans called him the king. But behind the flash of the cameras, a terrifying story was being woven, piece by piece, in silence. Many women who had been involved with Diddy described him as a man with two faces. One side was the charming, sophisticated, generous lover, the other was the controlling, brutal, and dangerous figure. Some former employees claimed that Diddy's lavish parties were not just about fun and luxury but resembled sex altars, where the line between consent and coercion was blurred by alcohol, drugs, and power. For over 2 decades, rumors leaked out, abuse, coercion, even secret videos capturing sexual encounters at private parties. But no one dared speak up. No media outlet would touch the name Diddy. Because he wasn't just a celebrity, he was the industry itself. Cassie Ventura, the young singer who signed with Diddy when she was just 19, was the embodiment of that unbalanced relationship. The media at the time hailed their love as a romantic manager, muse story. But what lay beneath? Control, abuse, forced tours, sex tapes, and total isolation from the outside world. According to Cassie's accusations many years later, the horrifying truth was, the victims were there, the evidence was exposed, but it was all buried under the thick concrete of fame and fear. Anyone who wanted to speak up was threatened, sued, or silenced with money, and so the story dragged on. For over 20 years. From star to defendant, when the mask of power falls, in November 2023, America was rocked to its core. Cassie Ventura, once seen as the doll in Diddy's hands for nearly 10 years, officially broke her silence with a lawsuit spanning nearly 40 pages. But this wasn't just a love affair gone wrong, it was a social indictment. She accused Combs of raping her, controlling her like a living doll, coercing her into participating in perverse sex games, forcing her to use drugs, and filming everything, all without consent. Cassie recounted how each time she tried to leave, he would use those sensitive videos to threaten her. "If you speak out, I'll destroy you before the law even gets to me," a chilling memory she couldn't forget. The lawsuit was quickly settled within a day, fueling suspicions that a large sum of money had been paid to silence the scandal. But the storm had already been unleashed. Cassie had sparked a chain reaction, igniting a wave of accusations. A female employee accused Combs of raping her in a penthouse in Las Vegas. A dancer claimed she was drugged and forced into a staged sex act at a party that was filmed. A former male employee revealed that Combs ran sex parties like secret auditions. Only those who obeyed could advance in the entertainment industry. And then the unthinkable happened. The FBI raided Combs' private homes in Beverly Hills and Miami on the same day. They carried federal search warrants, seizing hard drives, phones, documents, and even encrypted video footage. The federal investigation revealed something even more horrifying. Combs was suspected of running a human trafficking network hidden behind his entertainment company. According to records, the victims, mostly young women of color and Latina descent, were lured into art programs, then gradually drugged, filmed, and coerced into submission to avoid having their reputations destroyed. The fatal blow came in the form of a hotel surveillance video from the Intercontinental Los Angeles in 2016. In the video, Combs is seen attacking Cassie, punching her to the ground, and dragging her like an object, all caught on security cameras in a public hallway. The clip, less than 30 seconds long, was like throwing gasoline on a fire. It stunned the entire nation, no longer just rumors. No longer just testimony. This was living proof. In 2025, Combs was officially charged in federal court in Manhattan with the following offenses: human trafficking, extortion conspiracy, non-consensual filming of sex acts, physical and mental abuse, with a mountain of witnesses, digital evidence, testimonies, and verified video footage. The sentence could potentially be life in prison. From being a symbol of an era, Combs now sat in the courtroom, wearing a gray suit, his gaze empty, with no more glory. Only the sound of the court stenographers typing, the sighs of victims, and the judgmental eyes of the nation remained. Reputation crumbles, society awakens. When an empire falls in one night, the case of Sean Diddy Combs didn't end with a verdict. It culminated in a total collapse of an empire that had lasted more than 3 decades. In just a few days after the federal court revealed evidence and charges, the entire American entertainment industry was in shock. Universal Music Group, the corporation behind many of Combs' projects, announced it was severing all ties. BET, MTV, VH1, and a host of music channels stopped airing any videos associated with him. The Grammy and Billboard Awards quietly removed his name from their honor rolls. Even the charity Combs founded saw its funding pulled by partners. And that was just the tip of the iceberg. A slew of brands that had invested millions in Combs' ventures, like Ciroc Vodka and Sean John, declared they were suspending business indefinitely. Streaming platforms like Spotify and Apple Music began issuing warnings to users when his music played. Even his name on the Hollywood Walk of Fame was now being called into question for removal. On social media, the hashtag #SurvivingDiddy spread like wildfire. Victims, who had once stayed silent out of fear, reputation, or money, began speaking up. Each story was like another wound tearing into the once untouchable image of the rap mogul. A model who had worked on his music video wrote, "He told me, you'll be a star if you keep quiet and do as you're told. Now I realize, staying silent was complicity." It wasn't just those within the industry. Society began asking bigger questions. Why did no one dare touch Combs all these years? How many other moguls are still hiding behind the entertainment industry? And how many other women are being silenced for fear of being destroyed? Diddy's fall became a symbol of the collapse due to long-abused power. A music icon, who had sat as a judge, graced Forbes covers, and was celebrated as a success model, was now a defendant, charged with the physical and mental torture of women. Society was no longer indifferent. Artists began calling for reform, demanding record companies establish departments to protect female artists, proposing new laws against non-consensual filming and coercion in power dynamics, establishing funds to support victims who dared to speak out. A culture of silencing to maintain the image was shattered. Sean Combs may lose everything, but what he leaves behind isn't a musical legacy. It's an ethical earthquake that forces America to reconsider how fame was once used to cover up crimes. A warning for society, a lesson for the community. When fame becomes the mask of the devil, the case of Sean Diddy Combs is not just the story of an individual's downfall, it is a chilling reflection of the dark corners of modern society, where fame can be wielded as a weapon to manipulate, abuse, and strip away human rights. This isn't the first case of this kind in the entertainment industry, but it is one of the largest, deepest, and most painful eruptions, because it shows that a person with wealth, fame, and power can harm dozens of people over many years, and no one dares to stop them. The spotlight had once obscured the truth. The silence of the victims, of those around them, of the public, became fertile ground for evil to thrive. But the truth cannot be buried forever. This is a warning not just for the entertainment industry, but for any environment where power can be abused: the workplace, schools, families. Fame can never be a shield for crime. Whether you're a rap star, a Hollywood director, or a billionaire CEO, you have no right to trample on another person's dignity. No one at all, has the right to control your body, your thoughts, or your freedom, no matter how much they say they love you. Violence is never love. Control is never protection. Promises like "I'll make you famous, I'll give you your dream life," are just sweet covers for silent destruction. Society must stop seeing the silence of victims as weakness. They are not weak, they are threatened. They are isolated. They are fed guilt. Without a strong legal system and a vigilant community, they will continue to be pushed into the shadows. We need to build an environment where anyone can say, "I've been harmed," and be believed, protected, not ridiculed or doubted. A final reminder, for each of us, be vigilant for signs of control in relationships. When someone wants to know everywhere you go, when they use love as an excuse to limit you, when they tell you that you owe them for your success, when you start to feel fear instead of safety, if you notice these things, speak up. Leave. Seek help. No dream of fame is worth sacrificing your dignity, freedom, or life. Sean Combs was once a dream for many. But his case is a nightmare that woke up the world. Once again, we learn something that should never have to be learned through blood and tears: silence is never the safe choice. Evil only needs one thing to survive: that good people remain silent. But behind that historic roof is a rotten marriage, mounting debts, an undetected psychological crisis, and a mother who was sliding into the abyss of despair. What no one expected was, the woman who was once associated with the image of gentleness and sacrifice, became the one who killed her own children. The January 13, 2014, massacre shocked the Florida community, and behind the cold bullets was a series of tragedies that had been going on for years without anyone realizing it. Jennifer Berman was born in 1965 and grew up in a traditional middle-class Florida family. Her home, a small house with a white picket fence and a shady garden, was where she sat with her mother every evening, drinking tea and listening to classical music. Her mother, a woman of few words and a disciplined manner, raised her daughter with old-fashioned values: loyalty, sacrifice, and respect for family. Jennifer grew up surrounded by love, but also by strict expectations of what women should be. She graduated with a real estate degree and worked her way up to become a professional broker in South Florida, where beachfront homes cost millions and every deal is a contest of tact and trust. Jennifer is not a flashy extrovert, but she is a good listener. Clients remember her for her honesty, and colleagues respect her for her tenacity. But behind that gentle gaze is a heart that is always focused on something bigger: a loving family, 2 children, and a protective husband.